Welcome to the Deep Dive. We're your shortcut, really, to understanding the complex moves, the high-stakes games happening over in Genoa City. We don't just give you the headlines.
No, we dig deeper. We look at the why, the history behind it all, the strategies people are using. It just makes the whole drama land differently.
Exactly. And today, we are focusing on what feels like a huge character moment, a real convergence.
It's like a perfect storm, isn't it? Disaster meeting opportunity, and it's all centered on two people, Audra Charles and Noah Newman. Their past is, well, toxic is the word used.
And that toxic history is about to crash head-on into their current crises. It looks potentially explosive.
So our mission today, if you will, is to really unpack the sources on this. We've got details on Audra's situation. She's hit rock bottom, basically, professionally, personally, romantically. It's bad.
And then there's Noah Newman, her ex. He's back, but not in a good way. He's been attacked deliberately, and he's fighting for his life. It's incredibly mysterious.
So we're looking at their history, what's happening right now, and all the intense speculation about how these two situations are inevitably going to collide.
Yeah, the sources are really buzzing about this. They're saying Audra sees Noah's crisis as maybe her last chance.
Right. But is it a chance for actual redemption, or is she just, looking for an angle, trying to use this terrible situation to her advantage? That's the big question, I think.
And that initial picture is stark. Audra, completely isolated, ruined financially, clinging to this one very shaky job prospect.
And Noah, the guy she had this intense history with, isn't just back in town. He's being rushed to the hospital. Someone tried to kill him.
It's not just drama brewing. It feels like the writers are setting up a major high-speed plot engine here.
Okay, so let's really lay out Audra's situation first, because her desperation, that's the fuel for everything that might happen next. We need to understand just how bad things are for her.
And it all seems to trace back, according to the sources, to that deal she made with Victor Newman. They're calling it a ridiculous deal.
Ridiculous is a good word for it. I mean, making a deal with Victor Newman where you agree to seduce someone, Kyle Abbott, no less for money, that's not just a bad business decision.
No, it's like selling a piece of your soul, almost. Especially in a town like Genoa City where reputation is everything. Victor played her perfectly.
He really did. He used her ambition, maybe her greed, against her. And the fallout wasn't just that the seduction failed. Oh, no. It caused this massive ripple effect.
Right. Let's talk about the consequences. First off, Nate Hastings. Any chance she had there, gone. He wanted nothing more to do with her.
Adamantly refused is the phrase the sources use. He saw it for what it was, transactional, manipulative. Totally unforgivable in his eyes, it seems.
Okay, so Nate's out. But then she also managed to make some serious enemies. Claire Grace Newman.
Yep, Claire saw the whole thing unfold with Kyle. And you don't want a Newman angry with you, especially one trying to find her place in the family. Audra messing with Kyle, that just solidified Claire's dislike.
And then there's Kyle himself. The sources say she made an even bigger enemy out of him. He was the target, the pawn in her game.
Exactly. Think about it. Losing a potential boyfriend like Nate is one thing, but making enemies out of a Newman and a powerful Abbott like Kyle in Genoa City, that's just strategically disastrous. You're burning bridges with the two most powerful families.
It's like professional suicide. And speaking of professional, let's look at that side of things, because it's all tied together for Audra.
Absolutely. Her big venture, the cosmetics company Vibrante or Vante, whatever it ended up being called.
Right. It's described now as basically a faded dream. It's gone. Dead in the water.
And not just the company. All her money. Gone. Wiped out. Which is crucial for understanding her next moves.
And this is where Victor's particular brand of ruthlessness comes in. It wasn't enough that her scheme failed and the company died.
No. Victor demanded a refund. He wanted the money back that he paid her for the failed seduction attempt.
Okay, let's unpack that. That feels incredibly vindictive. Was he ever really going to pay her, even if she'd succeeded with Kyle?
The sources really lean towards no. They strongly suggest Victor was never going to pay up. The whole point likely wasn't to actually get Kyle seduced. It was to expose Audra.
To show everyone her price. To prove she was willing to do something like that.
Precisely. He uses people's weaknesses in her case, ambition, and maybe a touch of greed, not necessarily for profit, but to utterly destroy them, morally, financially, socially.
So demanding the refund, it wasn't about the money for Victor.
Probably not a dime of it. It was about humiliation. It was about making sure she had absolutely nothing left, no safety net, no way to just pack up and start over somewhere else.
He didn't just block her move, he penalized her for even trying. total devastation.
Which leaves her desperate, utterly desperate, and clinging, just barely, to this one single thread of a professional lifeline.
And that lifeline is Sally Spectra.
Yeah. Sally, who's always been a bit of an outsider herself, right? A fellow ambitious woman, maybe sees a bit of herself in Audra, or at least understands the hustle.
The sources say Sally is pretty much the only person Audra has in her corner right now.
And think about what that means. When someone like Audra, who is playing in the big leagues, is reduced to having only Sally Spectra, who's constantly fighting for her own legitimacy, as her sole supporter, it just highlights how completely isolated she is.
Her entire professional future depends on Sally succeeding, and Sally fighting off all the inevitable pushback.
And that one opportunity, the job at this new Abbott.com venture, it almost died before it even started.
Right. Billy Abbott, understandably wary of Audra, told Jack to pull the funding.
Which Jack did. So the job, the whole venture, it looked like it was toast.
But Sally works some magic. She managed to persuade Jill Abbott to step in and fund the company instead.
Okay, but how? Jill Abbott is no fool. She's incredibly sharp, especially with money, and especially when it involves Abbott family drama, which this clearly does. What could Sally have possibly said?
That's a great question. The sources don't detail the exact pitch, but knowing Sally and Jill, Sally must have framed it as a bold, maybe even disruptive move.
Maybe playing on Jill's rivalry with Victor, pitching Abbott.com as a real competitor to Newman Enterprises. Jill loves a good fight, especially against Victor.
That makes sense. Or maybe Sally put her own reputation completely on the line, guaranteed certain outcomes, offered Jill incredibly favorable terms.
Could be. The point is, whatever Sally did, it was likely a high-wire act. This job isn't some stable corporate position for Audra. It's part of a high-stakes gamble Jill took on Sally.
Which means Audra is on incredibly thin ice from day one.
Thinner than thin. And the spoilers are already hinting that Sally has to immediately go out on a limb for Audra.
You can just picture it, can't you? Sally having to stand in front of Billy, or maybe even Jill herself, and defend hiring Audra. Defend hiring the woman known for, well, seducing corporate targets.
The pressure must be immense for both of them. If Audra messes up, even slightly.
She doesn't just lose the job. She tanks Sally's credibility with Jill. She proves Billy right. She could potentially sink the entire Abbott.com ship before it even sets sail.
So existential professional desperation feels like the right description for Audra right now. Which, of course, sets the stage perfectly for what happens next. The arrival of a very different, very desperate opportunity.
Okay, so just as Audra hits peak desperation, maximum professional vulnerability, her ex, Noah Newman, reappears. But his return is anything but triumphant.
No, it's the complete opposite. He's being brought back to Genoa City under the absolute worst circumstances. He's in the hospital, critically injured.
Fighting for his life, the sources say, he's in a coma. And it's a medically induced coma because of brain swelling from whatever happened. This isn't just a minor injury, it's life-threatening.
It's incredibly serious. But here's where it gets really interesting and, frankly, quite sinister.
Yeah, this is the twist. The sources are very clear. This wasn't some random tragic accident.
No. It was deliberate. Someone targeted him. The quote is, somebody ran him off the road on purpose.
That changes everything, doesn't it? If it was an accident, the story's about recovery, maybe physical therapy, emotional healing.
But because someone did this to him, the story becomes a mystery. A crime. Who did it? Why? It introduces this whole element of danger and suspense.
And his parents, Sharon and Nick, they're at the hospital, obviously, described as worried sick. Completely understandable.
Of course. But Nick makes this observation that's really key. He tells Sharon that Noah had been acting strange before the crash.
Right. He said Noah seemed very nervous lately, like something was off.
That little detail is huge. It suggests Noah wasn't just some innocent victim caught in the wrong place. He might have known he was in danger. He might have known someone was after him.
Which immediately makes you look at where he's been and what he's been doing.
Exactly. So where was he? He'd gone to Los Angeles. He left Genoa City a while back to open another nightclub out there.
Okay, LA nightclub scene. That can be glamorous, but it can also be murky.
Very murky. And then there's his personal life. His girlfriend, Aline Gwynn, who he was with when he left Genoa City. She apparently stayed in Paris where they'd visited.
And there's no mention of the actress, Kelsey Wang, returning, which the sources take as a strong signal.
Yeah, it strongly suggests that the relationship with Allie is over, or at least paused indefinitely. So Noah comes back to Genoa City single.
Single, injured, and potentially running from something dangerous he got involved with in LA. That combination makes him incredibly vulnerable.
Precisely. The vulnerability is key. And the speculation about why he was attacked is centering firmly on his LA business dealings.
The phrase used is shady business with some sketchy people. It sounds like he got tangled up in something illicit.
Could be anything, really. Owning a high-profile club in LA. You could cross paths with all sorts of underworld figures. Maybe it was financial debt. Maybe he saw something he shouldn't have.
Money laundering is often associated with cash-heavy businesses like clubs. Or maybe he refused to play ball with some local power broker.
It's all speculation for now, but the fact it was a targeted attack, someone running him off the road, points towards something serious, like a professional hit, or a very angry message being sent, not just a random mugging gone wrong.
And the sources mentioned we're going to get more information soon from a new character named Sienna.
Yes, Sienna seems poised to be the key to unlocking this mystery. She apparently knows what kind of trouble Noah was in. Was he indebted? Did he betray someone? Sienna holds the answers, it seems.
This whole situation, his return under these circumstances, it also involves a significant casting change, which is interesting in itself.
Right, so Noah and Allie, they sort of vanished storyline-wise after a trip to Paris. That was when the actor Rory Gibson was playing Noah. He'd opened that club in Genoa City first, then they left.
And for those who follow multiple soaps, here's a fun little piece of trivia for you, the listener.
Yeah, it's a classic soap opera shuffle. Rory Gibson, the previous Noah, he's now over on General Hospital. He's playing Michael Corinthos. Actors jump between these shows all the time.
So a new actor is stepping into Noah's shoes here in Genoa City. Lucas Adams.
Described as cute and very hunky by the sources. But the really fascinating part is the connection between the new actor and this unfolding plot.
Okay, tell us about that.
Well, Lucas Adams, the new Noah, previously starred on Days of Our Lives. He played Trip Dalton, who is the son of Steve Patch Johnson, a legacy character.
I remember him.
And get this. The actress who played Trip's mother on Days of Our Lives, Ava Vitale, was Tamara Braun.
Wait, Tamara Braun is the actress playing Sienna, the new character who knows Noah's secrets.
Exactly. Isn't that neat? The actor playing the guy in the coma used to play the son of the actress who's now playing the character who holds the key to why he's in that coma.
Wow. Okay, that's not just random casting. That feels like the showrunners deliberately linking them. It's like a little wink to the audience, but it also heavily signals Sienna's importance.
It absolutely does. It guarantees she's central to this storyline. Her connection to the actor playing Noah practically screams, pay attention to Sienna. She knows what happened in LA.
So Noah's trouble isn't some vague threat. It's specific, it's tied to LA, and Sienna's the one who's going to bring those details to light, which makes Noah's situation even more perilous.
Okay, so now we have the two pieces. Audra, desperate and ruined. Noah, attacked, comatose, and vulnerable. We need to connect them through their past. Why is Audra likely to latch onto him?
It all goes back to London. Years ago. They lived together, it was serious, but it wasn't healthy.
No. The sources emphasize that Noah himself called the relationship toxic. He said they fought all the time.
It sounds like one of those intense, passionate, but ultimately destructive pairings.
High drama, constant conflict, and the way it ended was apparently brutal, especially for Audra.
Yeah, the story goes that after one huge fight, Audra expected the usual pattern fight, then makeup. Intense emotions both ways.
But that time was different. Noah. He just left. Vanished. The sources say he just never came back.
No closure, no explanation, just gone. Imagine how that must have felt. Abrupt, total abandonment.
That kind of ending can really mess with someone's head. It probably left a deep scar on Audra, maybe created this fear of being left again. Absolutely. It could explain why she might react so strongly now. It's maybe not just about Noah himself, but about rewriting that ending, regaining some control over a situation where she felt completely powerless before.
And then came the bombshell. The thing that adds another layer of intense, complicated history.
Right. The alleged pregnancy. Audra claims she was pregnant with Noah's baby when he walked out.
And that she subsequently had a miscarriage, supposedly before she even had a chance to tell him.
Which is heartbreaking in itself, if true. But it's the timing of when she finally did tell him that raises all sorts of flags.
Yeah, she didn't tell him right away, or even soon after. She waited.
Waited until she just happened to show up in Genoa City, ran into him again. Way after the fact, the sources say. At least a year, maybe more, had passed.
Okay, why wait? What was Noah's situation when she finally dropped this on him?
That's the crucial part. By then, Noah had moved on. He was in a new relationship with Ali Nguyen. The sources describe him as quite happy, settled, stable.
So when Audra tells him about the miscarriage, it doesn't land like sharing a past tragedy to find closure together.
Not at all. It lands like a grenade thrown into his current happiness. It felt, or at least it could be interpreted as, incredibly calculated. A way to disrupt his stable life, to remind him of their intense shared past, to maybe make him feel guilty for leaving.
It forces him to reconsider everything about their breakup, about her. It's a way to reinsert herself into his narrative, even if it's through shared pain and potential guilt.
Exactly. It wasn't about seeking comfort. It seemed more about seeking impact, destabilizing his present by weaponizing their past.
A romantic bomb, like you said. Okay, so fast forward to now. Audra needs something. Her other options are gone. Nate said no. Kyle hates her. Holden Novak, fixated on Claire. Tucker McCall, long gone.
Noah is literally the last man standing from her significant romantic past who is even potentially available, albeit in a coma. And her reaction when she heard about the accident was telling.
Right, she overheard Victoria and Nate talking about it. What does she do?
Immediately jumped in, reminded them, hey, I used to be with Noah, and then started asking very specific questions about his condition, how bad it was.
That doesn't sound like casual concern from an old ex. That sounds like staking a claim, assessing the situation.
Marking her territory, almost.
Yeah.
Which leads directly to the prediction everyone's making. Audra is going to throw herself into Noah's path.
Okay, but let's push back on that a little. We just established how precarious her job situation is with Sally and Jill.
Yeah.
Isn't running to the bedside of a comatose ex, especially one with such a dramatic history, going to look terrible?
Yeah.
Couldn't that jeopardize the one lifeline she has left? Is she really that self-destructive?
That's the rational take, absolutely. The risk is enormous. It could easily backfire and make her look opportunistic and unstable, confirming Billy's worst fears.
So why would she do it?
Desperation. I think the sources are suggesting her desperation level is so high, it's overriding her usual strategic thinking. She sees Noah lying there, vulnerable, and his girlfriend Allie is nowhere in sight.
She sees an opening.
A window of vulnerability, as the sources put it. Noah is likely going to be brought back to Genoa City to recover, maybe still unconscious for a while. He's physically helpless, emotionally probably a wreck when he wakes up, and he's alone.
And Audra thrives on drama, on high stakes.
Yeah.
This isn't just a problem for her, it's an opportunity.
Exactly. It's maybe the only opportunity she feels she has left. A path back to relevance, a way to feel needed, maybe even a chance to reconnect with someone she has that intense, albeit toxic, history with. The risk seems secondary to the perceived reward in her current state.
So she's making a play for him when he's at his absolute weakest, least able to push her away or see her motives clearly.
That seems to be the setup. It's opportunistic, yes, but maybe born from sheer lack of any other option in her mind.
All right, so if Audra does insert herself into this situation, what's the real driver? Is it purely tactical, seeing Noah as her last chance saloon? Or could there be maybe some genuine feeling left over from London?
It's probably messy, right? The sources do suggest she might have residual feelings. I mean, they lived together, they had that intense connection, however flawed it was. You don't just switch that off completely.
And now she has nothing else going on. No job security, no man, no prospects really. It's easy to get hyped up, as the sources say, about reconnecting with someone from your past when your present is so empty.
Yeah, she could easily mistake loneliness and desperation for love, or at least for a connection worth fighting for. It gives her a focus, a mission when she desperately needs one.
But then there's the other angle, the much more intriguing, potentially strategic motivation.
Right. The idea that Audra might try to fix things for Noah, not just emotionally, but practically, because she might actually know something about the trouble he's in.
Because of her own past.
Exactly. The sources point out that Audra was, at one time, part of that same LA scene. She knew people like Holden Novak, maybe this new character Sienna, possibly others involved in that world.
And Noah was running a high-end nightclub there. That kind of business, especially in LA, can attract a certain crowd. Wealthy, powerful, sometimes operating in gray areas.
Yeah.
Or worse.
Precisely. So if Audra was moving in similar circles, maybe through her corporate dealings or just socially, what kind of shady business could link them?
Okay, let's brainstorm possibilities. What fits both a club owner and a corporate climber like Audra?
Well, number one has to be money laundering, right? Clubs deal with a lot of cash. Someone might approach Noah to clean funds. And Audra, with her financial background, she might know how those schemes work or even who orchestrates them.
Okay, that's plausible. What else?
Maybe something involving information, corporate espionage, blackmail. High-profile clubs are places where powerful people talk, make deals, maybe let secrets slip. Noah could have overheard something. Audra knows how to leverage information.
Or it could be simpler, maybe. Debt, protection rackets. Noah owes money to some dangerous people, maybe from setting up the club. And Audra, moving in those circles, might know who he owes or how deep the trouble is.
Any of those fit the profile of a targeted attack, like running someone off the road. It feels personal, or at least very serious business.
So if Audra does have this kind of knowledge, it completely changes her potential role.
Absolutely. She's no longer just the desperate ex trying to get back with the guy in the coma. She could position herself as an asset, the only one who understands the danger Noah's in.
She could go to Nick and Sharon and say, look, I know you don't like me, but I know who Noah might have tangled with. I can help protect him.
It's the ultimate power play, isn't it? Leverage her potentially shady past connections to gain access, maybe even earn trust, and get close to Noah under the guise of protecting him.
A brilliant strategy if she could pull it off. But she'd be walking right into a brick wall.
Oh, yeah. The Newman resistance, Nick and Sharon. They are worried sick, as we said. And they remember London. They remember the stressful and dramatic past. They know about the toxicity.
They are not going to want Audra anywhere near their vulnerable son, especially not while he's unconscious or recovering.
Their protective instincts are going to be on high alert. They'll see her coming a mile away and likely view her as just another source of chaos and pain for Noah. They have the power, the influence, the money to make things very difficult for her.
So how fierce do we expect that resistance to be?
Maximum fierceness, I'd say. They'll likely try to block her at every turn. Hospital security is stern warnings, maybe even legal threats. They will fight tooth and nail to keep her away.
But the sources seem pretty convinced Audra won't back down easily. They suggest if she decides Noah is her target, I don't think there will be any stopping her.
It sets up a classic irresistible force meets immovable object scenario. Audra's desperation versus the Newman's protective fury.
But let's really challenge that prediction that she can't be stopped.
Yeah.
What could Nick and Sharon realistically do beyond just saying no that might actually force Audra to back off? Is there a lever they could pull?
That's a good point. They aren't powerless. They have significant leverage, especially considering Audra's fragile job situation.
Okay,
Well, they know she's working for Sally, funded by Jill Abbott. Nick or Sharon could easily go to Jill. They could argue, very persuasively, that Audra's obsessive involvement with Noah, a man targeted for violence, possibly by criminals, makes her a massive liability for Abbott-Com.
Pointing at the potential scandal, the danger.
Exactly. Jill is pragmatic. Protecting her investment might force her to pressure Sally to cut Audra loose, using Audra's job her only lifeline against her. That's powerful.
Or they could get legal. Maybe try for a restraining order.
Possibly. They could cite Noah's vulnerable state, Audra's past behavior, the toxicity, the manipulative timing of the miscarriage reveal, argue she's a source of stress detrimental to his recovery. It might be hard to enforce long-term, but it could keep her away while he's incapacitated.
So there are ways they could fight back effectively. It's not a foregone conclusion she gets access.
No, but her desperation factor is key. If she feels she has absolutely nothing else to lose, even losing the job might not deter her. It might just make her more determined to latch on to Noah because what else is left? Conventional threats might not work on someone already at rock bottom.
Which leads us to the really big picture question. Is this whole setup, Audra's ruin, Noah's attack, deliberately designed by the writers to push these two back together?
It certainly feels like it could be. Could their crises actually be the thing that forces them to confront their past and maybe help each other?
Her professional and personal collapse? His physical danger and shady past? Could they somehow find common ground in all that mess? Help each other turn their lives around, as the sources speculate?
It's presented as this high-risk, high-reward scenario. On one hand, Audra needs a purpose, something to fight for. Noah needs protection, maybe someone who understands the world he got mixed up in.
If she does have knowledge of the LA scene, she could be uniquely positioned to help him navigate whatever danger is still out there.
And going through that kind of crisis together, fighting a common enemy, that can forge incredibly strong bonds. It could force them to rely on each other in a way they never did before.
But the risk is huge.
Massive. What if the core dynamic hasn't changed? What if it's still built on that toxic foundation Noah described? What if Audra helping him just means dragging them both deeper into the criminal mess he was trying to escape?
Instead of redemption, they just create a bigger disaster together.
Exactly. Their history screams volatility. But their current situations are so desperate, maybe teaming up feels like the only viable path forward, however dangerous it might be. It's a collision course, one way or another.
Okay, let's quickly recap the key takeaways from this deep dive. Audra Charles. Facing absolute ruin, professionally and personally, Victor Newman basically engineered her downfall, leaving her isolated, broke.
And desperately clinging to this one fragile job opportunity thanks only to Sally Specter and Jill Abbott's gamble.
Right. At the same time, her ex, Noah Newman, is back. But not willingly. He survived a targeted, violent attack. Someone tried to run him off the road.
It's tied to some kind of shady business he got involved with while running his nightclub in L.A. He's now in a coma, completely vulnerable, and significantly, his girlfriend Allie is out of the picture.
Audra sees this. She sees the vulnerability, the opening, and all signs point to her leveraging their intense, complicated, toxic past, including that whole delayed miscarriage revelation.
To force her way back into his life, likely positioning herself as someone who can help or protect him, maybe using knowledge of that LA scene.
But she's going to face immense resistance from Nick and Sharon, who want her nowhere near their son due to that very same toxic history.
It's setting up a major clash. Audra's desperation versus Newman family protection. Will she be seeking genuine connection, or is this purely about survival and control for her?
Which brings us to our final provocative thought for you, the listener, to chew on. We know Noah was running from something dangerous in L.A. Let's assume Audra does manage to get close to him. Assume she uses her knowledge of that L.A. scene, maybe her connections, to somehow neutralize the threat against him. She saves him. But if her motive all along was purely self-preservation, just a desperate bid to regain relevance and find an anchor, has she actually achieved redemption in your eyes? Or has she just proven, once again, that manipulation and exploiting a crisis are her most effective tools for survival? That's the complex question hanging over this whole situation.